So one question that we had submitted in advance of this, a very interesting question from a father who said,
Yeah.
in my home, my parents made us believe what they believed growing up. I since don't believe what my parents believe. I don't know in what context that was, but his question was, my kids are, and I'm blanking on the ages, but I want to say somewhere, they were under 10. And he
Okay.
said, how much should parents try and help their kids understand what the parents believe, but not put it onto the kids? And how do you explain those without forcing a belief system, but still explaining what you believe?
That's a beautiful question, right? Just
And
thinking
I'm
about
butchering it. He
how
asked it in a much better way than I just put it out there. But
you were very clear though. Like I got the picture, right? And given that there is so much division in this country right now, I know parents who the grandparents aren't talking to the grandkids because they have different beliefs than the parents, right? I know siblings that aren't talking to each other. Like politics in the US is tearing families apart. So I love this question even more, that there is a dad out there saying, I don't want to force my kids to believe what I believe. How do I have this conversation with integrity to teach them to think for themselves, right? That's really what this comes down to. How do I teach my kids to find their own voice, to think and be good humans, even if that means that they have a different political view than me? So the way you do that is being aware that you want your kids to be amazing, wonderful, thoughtful humans, more than I want them to believe this and that and this and that. And my bias is that older generations kind of told us what to believe, and it was because I said so. You will believe X, Y, and Z because I said so. End of story. Go. Like, this is what we do. And that made it hard for many people to, well, why am I believing this? Why am I following this? And we don't want that for our kids. And we don't live in that same culture now. We want our kids to think for themselves, to have opinions, to do the research and figure it out. So I would really encourage this, dad, especially while your kids are young, because then it will be the culture in your home to say, here's what I believe. And here is why I believe it. Here's the information behind it. Here are my thoughts behind it. Here's how I got to this decision. Here's what I've seen in the world around it. What do you think about that? And you can do that for any and every issue. You can do that in all sorts of different ways in your family. And it will teach your children, A, why you believe what you believe. So they're more likely to follow, right? Because hopefully you are a logical person who's thought through your beliefs as opposed to just following them. But it also teaches them that it's okay to not just say, yep, I'm with you, but to say, oh, well, what do I believe? Well, how do I know that's true? You're teaching your child to critically think. And if they're coming up with something that you don't know, ask them, where did that information come from? Right? If you look up at the sky and you say, it's blue, I know it's blue because there are all of these different hues, but it all falls under blue. And they go, actually, it's purple. And you go, what are you talking about? Where's the purple? That feels so much different to your child than if you go, nope, it's not purple, you're wrong, it's blue, get with the program. But your kid might be like, look, right over there at 5 p.m., it's purple, AKA it's sunset, right? And they're right just as much as you are. Now, your child might think it's purple because they picked up a purple crayon and they colored it on their sheet purple and they're just completely wrong, in which case you can say, oh, that's your imagination, right? Because we're not going to tell our kids they're completely wrong. So
you don't have to tell them they're right either.
Right, exactly. You know, and our kids will believe what they're told. They'll believe what they hear, especially when they're young. But we all know adults who just follow what they're told. And to teach your children to be critical thinkers, to do research. I mean, one of the big things that we're seeing right now in the political climate is that we have two presidential candidates who will say directly opposing things about the same exact situation and both claim that they're right.
It's true. I can imagine how confusing that is to a kid.
Right. So it's so confusing, right? Biden is saying the sky is blue and Trump is saying, no, the sky is blue. And you're like, what is happening? And how do we differentiate where the truth is? How do you figure out the facts? How do you find the truth for you? And I'm not here to tell you what's true, but I'm here to say, find the reports, find the scientific evidence, find the research that you believe in, find the experts that you believe in, find the financial reports that you believe in, and share that with your children. Hey, these are the news sources that I trust. Therefore, that's where I'm going to read. These are news sources that I really don't trust. These are news sources that sometimes are okay. And talking to your children, especially your teens and tweens, about those details are powerful. Why do we watch one news station as opposed to another? Just because that's what my dad had on? Maybe. Why did my dad have it on? If you explain it to your kids, they'll know and they'll understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that is really, really powerful.